Alright, welcome to my real-time quest guide on the newly released quest, Pharaoh's Folly. This is a fairly quick and simple quest, but it does have a couple of tedious sections. We won't need any gear or items, so just show up naked. The only thing you might find useful is to keep a Pollnivneach teleport scroll in your bank, or have the Slayer skill cape to teleport to Simona at one point in the quest. That said, let's get started. We can use the in-game teleport option to teleport directly to the start point, at which point we'll talk to Leela. Go through the chat options, accept the quest, option 2 to continue the quest, and then we'll meet everyone in the Menaphos throne room. So again, just make sure you have no items and no gear, otherwise it won't let you continue with this section of the quest. Chat option 1 to continue the quest. We'll talk to the Pharaoh, just go through the dialogue, any chat option works. Once we get through this, he's going to put us into a shifting tomb that we're going to have to fully complete. In the shifting tomb, we have a couple of goals. First off, we're going to have to talk to 4 cats, so we want to look out for those. We can look at our minimap and they will be indicated by a yellow tile. Next off, we need to get 1 item from each of the 4 interactable events in the tomb. So we'll get 1 item from smashing vases, 1 item from smashing crystals, another item from unlocking a sarcophagus, and a final item from unlocking a chest. So we'll just make our way through the tomb, interacting with everything until we have all of the required items. Just smashing all the vases as we go along. Closest thing to me was the sarcophagus, so I'll interact with this. Just following the pattern, hitting those tiles, and then once I open the sarcophagus, I'll get some moldy bandages. That is 1 out of 5 items. Next up, I'll continue making my way through the tombs, smashing all the vases I see, looking for a chest. So you can see from the vases, I just got the gut string item. Next up, we'll be looking for any crystals to smash and a chest to unlock. All the while keeping our eyes open for any cats that we might see. So this is probably the most tedious section of the quest, just having to go through the entire dungeon. From the chest, we'll get some feathers. Next up, we'll start looking for some crystalline corruption that we can mine. Once you have the unique item from one of the events, you no longer have to interact with that. So just to demonstrate that, I already got the item from the chest, so no need to interact with any more chests. The last item I'm looking for is from any of the crystalline corruptions. There we go. I got the item from the crystalline corruption. That was the crystal shards. So now I can make my way towards the exit rope. Once I interact with the exit rope, it is going to disintegrate, and that's what we needed all these items for. So after the rope disintegrates, search the arrow shafts. You'll get a spare arrow shaft and a mysterious message. Feel free to read the message. Now that we've done that, we're going to craft a bow and an arrow with these items, but to get the final component, we're going to need to look out for 4 cats. So here's the first cat that I see. Again, you'll notice that it has a yellow dot on the minimap, so be looking out for any of those. And make sure that we talk to all 4 unique cats. Once you find them, run through the dialogue, and then they'll despawn. So I'm just making my way again through the entire shifting tomb, looking out for any yellow dots I see on the minimap. There's our 3rd cat, and our 4th cat, not too far off. After you talk to the 4th cat, he's going to give you a bone shard, and then we'll have all the ingredients we need to make our rescue bow and arrow. So use the curved bone on the gut string to make our bow, then use the arrow shaft on the feather, and then the feathered arrow shaft on the crystal shards. And there we have it, there's our bow and arrow. Our moldy bandages will serve as the rope. So now we'll just make our way back to the original exit point, and once we get there, we can simply click the bow. So here we go, back at the original exit point, click the bow, and that finishes the dungeon section of this quest. Exit the rope. Once you exit, talk to Ozan. Run through the dialogue, and once this dialogue ends, we're going to be heading to the northern gate of Sophanum. So quickest way I think to do that is to teleport to the Menaphos lodestone, enter Sophanum from the gates here to the east, and then we'll make our way all the way over to the north gate. Now we're going to have to talk to a handful of NPCs. The goal is simply to recruit them for a final trial in the Pharaoh's palace. So once we exit the northern Sophanum gate, talk to the commander here. You can use any chat option for the first one. Alright, any chat option here. After that, we'll use chat options 2 and then 5. So 2, continue quest, and 5, continue quest. Now we have to talk with 4 more NPCs, starting with Mesa, who's in the church here in Sophanum. So we'll head back through the gates and head all the way south to the Grand Church over here. Once we're here, we'll talk to Mesa. And there are no chat options to choose, so just spam through the dialogue. The next NPC to talk to is Hassan in the Menaphos marketplace, so I'll teleport back to the Menaphos lodestone and make my way north. Hassan lives in a house just a bit northwest. So here we go, talk to Hassan, option 1 to continue the quest. Run through the dialogue, and then we'll be on to the next NPC. The next NPC is in Pollnivneach, so make your way there however you wish, whether that's with the Slayer Cape teleport to Simona, whether that's with a Pollnivneach teleport scroll, or with what I'll do, I'll be using the magic carpet system. So the magic carpets are just outside the gates of Menaphos. I'll right-click travel, head over to Pollnivneach. Now that we're in Pollnivneach, we'll want to talk to an NPC named Lydia. She'll be just a bit southeast of Simona. So from the magic carpets, just heading a bit north. And then it can be a little bit cramped in here, but there she is in this house. Talk to Lydia, run through the chat, and she will be recruited to the council. The last NPC to talk to is in Al-Kharid Palace, so just using the lodestone to head to Al-Kharid. Make my way south into the palace and then talk to the Emir. Chat option 1 to continue the quest. That's all the NPCs recruited. The next step is to go to the Shifting Tombs and talk to Ozan. So I'll use the Menaphos lodestone. From the Menaphos lodestone, I'll climb up the stairs just to where you see this dungeon icon. And then I will enter the Shifting Tomb. Going to talk to Ozan, and we're going to start a little stealth section. So another tedious portion of the quest here. Tedious, but easy. So after talking to Ozan, exit from the western exit in the Shifting Tomb to put you back to the Imperial District, and chat option 1 to continue the quest. We'll have a little cutscene here showing all the guards that we're going to have to avoid, but there's a nice easy path to avoid all of them. So our end goal is to head here to the Grand Library. To do this, we'll make our way a little bit north, come up to the pool. We want to hug the pool of water, make our way a little bit west, and again hugging the pool of water so that those guys don't see us. From here we'll go north, and we're going to make our way north and around and behind these guards. Unfortunately, you cannot turn your run energy back on, and you do have to proceed with this portion of the quest with this very slow walk. Once we're behind the guards, we'll continue basically behind all of these guards until we get to the Grand Library. Once we're here, we're going to want to hug the edges of this grass patch. We won't really have to worry about these guards, but we might have to worry about this guard and this guard, so we'll just want to wait. Once they make their turns, then we're good to go. Just behind this guard, just outside, and enter the Grand Library. Once you're in the Grand Library, talk to Ozan once more. He's going to give us a torch. We're going to use that to signal him. And then we continue on with one more stealth section. So we'll make our way south. And this is the guard we're going to have to avoid. Our end goal is to get to these stairs. Unfortunately, with this walk speed, I don't think you can do it in a single cycle. So we do have to do some waiting. We will have to wait here behind this table. Once he walks past, however, we are safe. We'll get about halfway down the stairs, and then we'll click the torch to signal Ozan. We'll get a silly little cutscene, and then we'll be able to rescue Leela. There's a little teaser on the next MTX walking animation coming to Treasure Hunter. After the cutscene, we'll head down the stairs, head west, and talk to Leela. She's going to start following us, and we'll have a little ways to go with a new escort and stealth section. Unfortunately, we can't use these stairs, as there is a guard with direct line of sight over there, so we have to go the long way. Making our way east to these eastern stairs. Nothing says fun like artificial time gates in the quest. So here I'll just play safe once more. Don't think you can make that in one cycle with the slow walking speed. Hide behind the table, and once he turns around, we should be safe. Here you can go down from either stair. I'll go down with these southern stairs, but once more we'll have to wait for the guards. Once we get to the stairs, we're safe, and we'll simply talk to Ozan, finishing all the tedious portions of this quest. Now that we're outside, we'll have a long bit of dialogue here, so hold down that spacebar. Choose any chat option when prompted, doesn't matter which. And once the conversation finally ends, we can use the lodestone to teleport back to Menaphos. Now we'll be heading back into the throne room where we'll wrap up the quest. So from the lodestone, up the stairs, all the way west, and through to the throne room. Chat option 1 to continue the quest. Now we'll be into the final portion of this quest, the trial. So we have one NPC in each of the 4 corners. We'll just want to talk to them, so we'll start with this NPC in the northeast, Grand Vizier Hassan. We'll use chat option 2 to call a witness, chat option 4, and lastly chat option 1. So his bar should turn red, that means we've got his vote. Next we'll talk to Admiral Wadud, chat option 2 to call a witness, chat option 1 Lydia, and chat option 1 Coenis's death. Again, his bar should turn red, meaning we've got his vote. Next up, we'll talk to Batal in the southwestern corner. Chat option 2 to call a witness, chat option 2 again, and chat option 1 Scabarus. That should give us his vote. And his bar turns red. Lastly, we'll talk to the commander. Chat option 2 to call a witness, chat option 3, Grand Vizier Hassan, and chat option 2. So there we go. Now we've got everyone's votes, and the quest is essentially finished at this point. Just got to go through the rest of the dialogue. You'll get kicked out of the palace, simply re-enter the palace, and talk to Leela to completely finish the quest. She is now the new Pharaoh of Menaphos. So congrats to her, but more importantly, congrats to us for finishing the quest. Run through the dialogue, get the rewards, couple of nice lamps here, 60,000 experience in agility, 60,000 experience in thieving, and a new teleport item that provides infinite teleports all over Menaphos. So there you have it, that was my quest guide for Pharaoh's Folly. We got ourselves a couple of nice rewards and got our quest cape back. If this video was helpful, share it with a friend and consider leaving me a comment. Thanks for watching and see you next time.